Listen, it's not complicated. The indigenous people from Argentina to Alaska are in an active genocide and have been for 500 plus years. In 2024, we are at the bottom of every social, health, and economic indicator. We're domestic dependent nations with the illusion of sovereignty, and tribal leaders who are glorified governors of the United States. We have the highest poverty rates, highest addiction rates, highest suicide rates, lowest life expectancies, lowest education rates, an MMIW crisis, a water crisis, a food crisis, a land crisis, a resource crisis. And it's not a coincidence. It's all a part of the kill the Indian, save the man policy, that assimilation or extermination agenda. An agenda that's been completely funded by the colonial governments. And since the day our treaties were signed, the colonial governments have been making laws and acts that take or complicate those rights in the name of national security or pure greed, to be honest. And that all really started with the Marshall Trilogy and the 1871 Appropriations Act, anti-Indian policy. Listen, folks, genocide isn't always bombs and war. In the Western Hemisphere, indigenous genocide is chemical and psychological warfare, accompanied by mass internment on what we know as reservations. It's policies and tactics that are dialed in to slowly assimilate or exterminate hundreds of culturally unique governances, traditions, values, diets, and languages. It's colonial big business pulling our culture from our dying hands and reselling it for thousands more than an indigenous person ever could. It's the federal government calling it a nation-to-nation relationship, but when it comes to critical mining and the Paris Climate Treaty, we are left out of it. In the name of national security, our land, water, and rights destroyed, ignored. It's ignorance of law. It's a failed education system. It's whatever excuse we can think of. But it's 2024. There are no more excuses. Something has to be done. And it starts with our tribal councils, which we'll deal with. And it ends with colonial governments being accountable for their side of treaties. What we need is full treaty rights and self-governance. Until we have that, our genocide will never end.